going way back to training camp, Billy Donovan praised your maturity. He said you're like a sponge. You want to get as much information as you can. You talk to him and the other assistant coaches and try to learn as much as you can about the NBA game. People looked at the depth chart and thought, well, Ayo's not going to play much as a rookie. He might be playing some G League games for the Windy City Bulls. And you quickly established yourself as a guy that deserved to be in the rotation. Now with the injuries that we've had, you've started, the last 14 games. Have you even surprised yourself with how quickly you've adapted to the NBA game and have been able to make your mark?
I would say I wouldn't think it surprised myself because watching a lot of my college film, I like to study myself a lot. I like to be my biggest critic because I figure if I can find out ways to stop myself, then and if I'm very honest with myself, then it gives me an advantage before the opposition tries to do it. And I understood that the college game was just a different game, that much different than the NBA game. And I always knew that I was going to have a chance to excel better in college in the NBA than college just because of the spacing. College is no defensive 3 seconds. They play blocks and elbows. They can hard hedge a lot more than the NBA. It's just a more tighter space. And the NBA, when I studied the NBA a lot, it was a lot of ball screens, a lot of space. You got guys like Vucevic, you really can't. If you're big, you can't stay too long because he can shoot, he can pass it. And just so many skilled players in the NBA with so much space that I knew that just get under the NBA equipment and the technology that I was going to be able to excel there. So I wouldn't say it surprised me. I was actually looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to continue to get better.
People are always so curious about LeBron. What was your relationship like with him? What kind of teammate is he?
Yeah, phenomenal teammate for starters. Just, he's so driven by winning and being great and trying to improve and be better that it really just kind of sets the tone for the team. I was lucky enough, that championship team, we had so many vets, right? So many guys in the league that were established, that had played on so many teams, Rondo, Dwight, JaVale, Danny. And then you got Bron at the head of that. Just kind of, his greatness pushed everybody, right? He's just one of the guys. He chops it up, cracks jokes. People make fun of him in the group chat as well. But then at the end of the day, his ability to lead by setting an example, right? First one in, last one out, the way he takes care of his body, the professional aspect of it. And then, getting to the ultimate goal, getting to the playoffs and having that mentality of nobody's going to beat us, right? We all believe that. There's something that just rubbed off on us that I think, it's hard to do. It's hard to do in this league. This league has a lot of outside factors that influence guys as far as, why they play, what they're playing for, what their goals are. And to be able to have, best player in the world tell everybody, hey, come with me, this is what we're going to do, and then hold everybody to the high standard. It's a pretty special thing.
Before I even had a relationship with him personally, Cole was, my consistent imagination. I was young and I'm old enough to remember Jordan, but I remember Kobe first rookie game, and I remember watching every single game. So me being from LA and kind of the only game we could watch not having cable was the Lakers. So my whole imagination started with Kobe. Everything I seen him do, from the fadeaways to, I remember I used to always want an afro when I was a kid and push it back. Like Kobe. So, he was my imagination in the fadeaways and in the dunks and everything. So it started there because I started emulating everything I seen him do as a kid, and by the time I was 15, 16, to have a personal relationship with him, and that to grow and to personally be taught by him and get an understanding from him how the game should be played, the work ethic, everything that comes with it. It's like a dream come true, and I think that's why you see so much in my game, because my foundation, everything was built off him.
Oh man, the journey is something I can't believe. Coming out of Radford, I couldn't get like no NBA. I had like 2 NBA workouts, but every NBA team I worked out with, they was like, well, we don't know what position he is, because I played the 4 in college. And I'm like, I mean, me personally, I was like, wherever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. In my back of my mind, and the journey overseas, it was crazy. Playing 4 years over there, you learn from both aspects, and then coming home during the summer and playing doing NBA workouts, NBA training camps, playing summer league, you learning both aspects of the international and in the States, how they play, and then I feel like that helped me a lot to understand just basketball, period. So the journey was a long one, but I'm just blessed I'm here and I'm talking and I can talk about it now.
Levine, but what was going through your mind when you got traded from Minnesota? That was the first team that drafted you, and you had a great relationship with Flip Saunders. But what was going through your mind when you heard that you got traded to Chicago?
I mean, I think for any young players, that was my first 3 years. I was drafted at 18, and I got injured when I was 21. So you almost grow up a little bit in the league your first 3 years because it's a brand new experience. So I was, especially being hurt on ACL, I was a little upset. But then I looked at it as a positive to where, now I get to go out here and showcase, my talents and be who I am. Sometimes you have to play a role your first, when you come into the league. And like I said, I was pretty much the third option on that team, just the way that, they're the 2 top picks. You have to fit into your different roles. I was playing point guard, like you said, predominantly behind Ricky Rubio, and then I'll come in to play shooting guard. So I feel like all that experienced me for now, the opportunity that presented itself for me in Chicago to come out here and really show who I am and all the hard work that I put in. In the offseason, I don't work out like a number 2 or number 3 guy. Like, I wanted to be a superstar, and I still want to be, and that's how I work. And I just wanted to have that opportunity, and I was ready to walk through that door.
Zach, speaking of that, I wanted to ask you about your relationship with your father, who puts you through those summer boot camps. For the viewers who don't know, maybe you could fill them in on your dad's athletic background and how hard he works you and motivates you to be the great player that you are.
Yeah, so my dad was a former NFL player. He played back in the day, Stacey might know this. You guys will too. The USFL was like the other NFL. Yep. Played for the Portland Breakers and then played for the Seahawks for a little bit before he got injured. Come from really tough upbringing in San Bernardino. Got his family out the hood, moved to Portland, and brought that, into my life a little bit, because obviously I didn't grow up the same way he did, but, tried to instill that toughness into me. And, I got to give my mom credit too, because she allowed him to coach me and push me to be, the person I am today. And my dad is the person I looked up to. I wanted to be like him. And then getting older, I wanted to be better than him. I always heard about his stories, him growing up and him being in the NFL. It's okay. So, now there's 2 Levines, and one of them has to be better than the other one. So I think I put that upon myself.
When the season ended and, you realize that, you're going to have a little time off and you're going to heal up, and now you're out in LA working out with DeMar, and your mindset has to be, I know how it is, what part of your game do you feel you need to work on the most to be even more effective next year going into year 3?
Consistency, I would say, for me. I think it was points in seasons points of the last season and my rookie year where I played well. It was points where I didn't play too well. It was points where I shot the ball well, points where I didn't. So I think for me, especially last year, just because I think I played under 20 games. Just trying to kind of be consistent, whether it's being aggressive, whether it's getting downhill, whether it's being locked in defensively, whether it's rebounding the ball, just kind of being consistent. I think I've shown myself and I've shown the team that the team has faith in me that I can do whatever I say I can do. But it's just me being consistent with it. That's something that I definitely pick up from, Vooch and Zach and DeMar and Lonzo and just anybody around the team. They're always consistent with what they do. That's something that I've seen just throughout being in NBA from really good players. What good and bad games are going to happen, but they're always consistent with with their approach. They're always consistent with how they play the game. So I just think being consistent is a big thing for mine. Of course, you can always be a better shooter, always be a better ball handler, being more comfortable to pick a role as a ball handler and screener, reading closeouts a little bit better. But I just think I've done all of those throughout the season. It's just about being consistent with it.
Yeah, at the beginning of the show, Stacey was talking about Oklahoma legends, and he mentioned himself, of course.
Come on, baby. You can't start a conversation with my name not being somewhere in there.
In there, for sure. For sure.
So I was going to ask you, what was it like in your year at Norman, looking up and seeing that Stacey King banner hanging from the rafters?
Oh man, I've been going to Lloyd since I was a kid, so Lloyd Noble Center. I mean, that's where everybody plays. So I've been seeing that banner up there, and up there with Tisdale and all those legends. So it to be honest, it's motivating. Like when I got drafted to Atlanta, going and seeing Dominique and Pete Maravich and all those guys with those names in the rafters. It's something about having your last name in the rafters. So I've seen Stacey's jersey number up there and that last name King up there in the rafters in Lloyd for a long time. So it's definitely was motivating for me as a player coming up there.
So there's a lot of haters in this room right now. I just want to throw that out there. A lot of haters. What was your relationship with Stu?
I didn't have a good relationship at all. We were extremely competitive with one another. But I mean, we were never going to change. And it's not that we didn't respect each other. I mean, what he did at the ESPYs, that, his final year when he got the Jim Valvano Award, I mean, that's one of the most remarkable moments in my life that I saw that. And what he did and how he became something more than just a SportsCenter anchor. But we competed. I mean, he thought he was every bit as good as me. He wanted the 11 o'clock SportsCenter. He wanted to be doing the NBA Finals. I was doing it, when you guys were winning championships. We played flag football. He would tape up his ankles. He was competitive. We played basketball one time. And this will give you an idea of how we both were with one another. And the guys on ESPN News, SportsCenter said, come out and play. And I could play a little bit. I just didn't want to play anymore. Somebody undercut you, somebody fouled you. I just didn't, So I said, all right, if you promise, Jason Jackson, Scott Van Pelt, these guys, I said, if we can just run up and down the floor, and I can sweat and shoot a couple jumpers, great. They said, we promise you that. I said, I don't want somebody picking me up 94 feet. Well, I show up, and Stuya has got Air Jordans. He's got Mike's, Air Jordan jersey. He's got goggles. He's got sweatbands on. I mean, he's ready to go. And I'll be damned if he doesn't pick me up full court. And I got so mad at him at one point. I'm dribbling on the right side, and I'm dribbling with my left hand. I said, where do you want me to fucking score on you?
Now, when you came out of Oklahoma, you knew that you were going to be one of the top picks in the draft. I don't know if you traveled to a bunch of teams. You got any favorite story of the whole process leading up to the draft?
Oh, America, I could write a book. Okay, so I went to Indiana, and I didn't work out because when you're a lottery pick, you don't work out. Yeah. So I went to Indiana, and they gave me like the Wonderlic test. Like they gave me this test. I'm sitting there like, why are we doing this? Are we going to do any basketball drills or whatever? And they wanted to test your IQ. It was like, it's like crazy questions. What's the difference between red and blue? Okay. How do you answer that? Two different colors, but it was crazy. My time in Chicago, I came here. I liked it because, I got a chance to come to Chicago. I wanted to come play for DePaul. And if you've been following the stories, America, if you're new, I got recruited by DePaul and was really close to coming to play for the Blue Demons. And something happened that changed my mind. And so I ended up going to the University of Oklahoma. But I ended up in Chicago anyway. And so when I came here for the pre-draft workout, the Bulls wanted me to work out. I didn't really, my agent told me, which was David Falk, says, don't work out. We don't want you to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. The Bulls kind of coaxed me into it. The late, great Johnny Bach kind of coaxed me into it and says, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Oklahoma. He said, are you born and raised in Oklahoma? I go, yeah, I was born and raised in Oklahoma. And he said, there's only two things come out of Oklahoma. and it was
Which one are you?
It was the old officer and gentleman line. And if you've seen that movie, you know what it is. And he asked me, which one are you? And he said, if you're not going to work out, then I already know which one you are. So it kind of challenged me. So I said, okay, all right, Ben Franklin. Because he looked like Ben Franklin. I said, I'm gonna work out. So I work out for him. I'm doing all this court work, running, jumping, So they said, okay, we're gonna amp it up a little bit. You're not gonna get hurt. And Doug Collins was a coach. So Doug Collins was that coach. So he said, we're gonna amp it up a little bit. We're gonna put a little resistance on. I'm like, all right, cool. So as long as you don't hurt me, we're good. No one's gonna hurt you. Just give you a little resistance. So they bring in this guy. This is when we used to practice at the health club, the multiplex over in Deerfield. So that's when it was a health club, so anybody could be in there or whatever. So I see this gangly guy with salt and gray hair, just look disheveled, and
maybe a little high.
Yeah, he was a big dude, broad shoulders. And, watching the Bulls games because, Harvey Grant, the twin of Horace Grant, we used to watch the Bulls on WGN all the time. Yeah. So I had a little insight of the Bulls being a teammate of Harvey. So I assumed it was Dave Corzine because he looked just like Dave Corzine. So he comes in, he's all, he's just coming in. And I'm like, they bringing Dave Corzine in? Like, this is not really good for me because, I'm battling this guy for his job, and he's going to work out against me.
You don't want to get hurt.
I don't want to get hurt, So I said, forget it. Let's go. So I go in there and I'm posted up, and he's kind of physical. He's banging me, hit me in the back, and just really, really being physical. So I turned around. I said, hey, Dave, man, Dave Corzine, chill, bro. Chill. It's not that serious. Like, you're not even supposed to be hitting me. Shut up and play. And he called me the P word. Yeah. In America, you know what that means. And you don't call a guy that, okay? So I'm like, I looked at him. I'm like, you just call me that? Like, okay, dude, right?
Corzine.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, okay, Corzine. So we get to doing it. I'm posting up. I go to make a spin move. I go up to take the shot, and he hard fouls me and kind of slams me to the ground. And I got up, and I said, man, what are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to do that. Shut up and play. The P word again. So, okay, I said, okay, Dave Corzine, I got something for you. Okay, you want to play like this? So my mindset now is I got to show these coaches that I'm not soft, because I'm not. Because, I'll throw hands with you in a minute. So, but I said, I don't want to do anything crazy because I if I get drafted here, if I fall in the draft, they got to draft me, and I don't want them to think I have a bad attitude. But I couldn't let this dude do that and get away with it. So, Dave Corzine. So I'm posting up again. They said, so Doug's laughing. And I don't know why everybody's laughing at this point. So they're all laughing. I said, hey, all right, I got something for Dave Corzine. So they throw me the ball. He said, do the same move. So all right, cool. So he throws the ball in. I crab dribble to the middle and quick spin baseline. And as I went baseline, I elbowed who I thought was Dave Corzine in the face. Pow! And he's like, oh! And then I dumped the ball. Boom! And then when I dumped the ball, I took my legs and wrapped around his waist, and I just was like twisting him. And then I slung him out of bounds. And then I said, you play. And I gave him the P word. Boom! I threw the ball. And he was like, he immediately charged at me. And it was so slow. Like, he was so slow. Like, I said, I'm finna kill this dude. Like, he's like, oh! And as I get ready to give him a two-piece with no biscuit and soda, Eric Helen, the strength coach, who was 25 at the time, comes flying out of nowhere and grabs me and pins me up against the wall. No, don't do that. So Jerry's like, Riley, what are you doing? You can't do that. And he's all upset. The coaches are laughing. Doug was like slapping his hand like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So they said, Stacey, go take a shower. So I'm going to the shower. Eric Helen's walking me to the locker room. He goes, hey, man. He goes, boy, you're feisty. You got a temper. We need guys like you here for the Pistons. And I'm like, man, look, listen, they probably won't draft me now because after this, they're not going to draft me. He said, no, if you're there, they're going to draft you because they need players like you. And he said, man, you know who you got into it with? And I go, yeah, Dave Corzine. So he starts laughing. And I'm really getting pissed now because everybody's laughing every time I say Dave Corzine. So he's like, no, man, you ever heard of Phil Jackson? And I you know, at that time, I didn't know who Phil Jackson was. I'm like, I don't know who Phil Jackson. Who is he? Is he from the CBA? Who is he from? He's like, he's assistant coach. He's the second in command as assistant coach. And you almost punched him. And I'm like, oh. And at that point, I knew I wasn't coming to Chicago. I was like, it's over, baby. So then I go shower, and I'm feeling like crap now because I'm like, man, they think I got a bad attitude. They think I'm uncoachable. So I come in the meeting with Jerry, and Jerry's sitting there, and he's like, he's like, Stacey, I just want to tell you, you can't do that. What if the Pistons do that and someone does that to you and you get ejected? It hurts the team, And I told him, I said, hey, Mr. Krause, I'm sorry. I said, where I'm from, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. You slap me, I'm going to slap you harder. That's just where I'm from. And then, Doug's in the back like, yeah, that's what I'm talking. We need that, man. We need that mentality. So I was like, man, the coach like this. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then Phil comes in, and he's showered and everything, and he's walking in slow. I mean, he looks like Slender Man, that movie Slender Man. He's like real, he's like gangly coming in. And I'm sitting in a chair. So I'm thinking to myself, where I'm from, I got to know if this is over. And he's like, So I'm immediately like getting ready to pounce up because, I didn't want him to jump on me when I'm in a chair. I mean, I'm done for. So I jumped up and was like, are we done? Is this over? And he's like, hey, everything's good. Everything's cool. I'm Phil Jackson. I'm like, I'm sorry, Coach, man. I thought you was Dave Corzine. My bad, man. I'm sorry. And so they all laughed about it. But that was that story is pretty is a funny story. Remember
yeah.
Little shotgun.
Derringer.
You bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah,
that's me back in the back seat. So don't interrupt me again, Tim, or I'll hit you with a throat punch. Okay.
Speaking of quarterback looks, you see Aaron Rodgers walking into camp.
I was going to ask you about that.
You know what? The first. Okay, what was the first thing
Leaving
you thought
West
of?
Green Bay.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, Nicolas Cage. No. You know what my first thought was? No. You know what my first thought was? Couples retreat. The massage therapist that came swimming in the water, and then he. Oh, wait a minute! Here we go.
All right, we got that covered. Again, if you're just listening, oh no, they could have picked a better photo though.
America, the 10 sexiest men alive in Montana. Look at that.
Oh my!
Mark, don't hate. Mark, don't hate. Mark, look.
Is that your boo?
Is that Brad Pitt is that Brad Pitt and Denzel Washington?
They were runners up. Yeah.
So I'm in there with them. Oh, I told you I was a black Brad Pitt. Y'all didn't believe me. But now look at me, baby. I haven't been to Montana, America. I haven't been to Montana, but I'm one of the 10 sexiest men alive.
And
is that his blue steel mark?
And if you're just listening on the podcast, just imagine the worst cover you could possibly come up with. Photoshop with Stacey's photo.
Listen, let me tell you something.
And the state of Montana in the background.
America. This is legit, okay? Mark
This is legit.
This is legit.
Oh, all
Mark
right.
is a hater, okay?
All right.
Hey, Mark.
It's a special double issue. Did you notice?
They can't even afford to put out a magazine in Montana.
Mark,
Come on now.
Mark, stop hating, man. Stop drinking Haterade. Drink Gatorade. It tastes better. Okay? I knew this was going to cause some problems here. Okay?
Yeah.
America, I knew this was going to cause some problems with my co-host here because they were not on the cover. No one knows. They don't want to see these guys. Okay? If you go to page 72, you'll see me with my clothes off.
Oh no.
That's the kind of magazine it is, America.
That is Montana.
Again, this is all made up. There is no Montana magazine, and don't go to page 72 if there is.
There is. America, buy it today. Buy it today, and I'll autograph it when you see me at the games. Well, we got some haters in here, man.
Well,
We got some haters in here. Oh, man, that's terrible, man.
Tell our audience, I got an AVN award this year.
I thought we were supportive of each other here. I realized this is why Michael Jackson left the group, everybody. This is why the Jackson 5 broke up and Michael went solo. Michael, hey, you're not here with us right now, brother, but I see why you left the Jackson 5, and I'm going to do the same thing. Michael Jackson got all the attention. Now, look, I got all the attention in Montana. No one wanted to
I
bet
kind
on
of feel like Seabiscuit right about now.
He was Seabiscuit, okay? So, Adam.
That's a great analogy. You're making me feel a lot better, Stacey.
But Seabiscuit, you know what you saw with the ending, Seabiscuit.
Yeah, they shot him.
Seabiscuit had a heart attack, man.
I was getting ready to say, boy, I thought you said you was going to try to be a model. I was like, what? Go on, Twy. You had it. Twy. I know you always thought you was a pretty dude. Well, look at him. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, I ain't never been no pretty dude. Handsome, maybe. Pretty? That don't sound too good.
All right, Whispers.
You ever see? That's why I got two of them.
It's your turn.
Well, I was going to ask him about the Playboy bunnies and the cake, and back in those days, though, Antoine did say the cake tasted good.
Yeah,
but then there
we
was
got that story already.
Yeah. So that was kind of taken out of there. But
you got your one shot. Then
your one shot.
He fumbled the ball. No backup plan.
No. I also heard
all right.
that Antoine was there when Rodman whispered 3 words into Malone's ear, but we've never heard what they were. But the rumor is that you know what they were.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I refuse to say anything about it because it could get me in trouble just like everyone gets in trouble with Trump. So I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, darn. We're trying to expose something here.
I'm kidding. You know exactly what Jordan said. And those guys be selling Carl.
Yeah.
You're not delivering on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Not delivering on Sunday. The mailman doesn't deliver on Sunday.
Over these past 100 episodes, as we found out some talents that our panel has, can do some celebrity impersonations. And one of the big hits, especially with the Twitch group, is Tim Kelley as Christopher Walken reading our hot sauce ad. So, you know, this is the 100th episode, so we got to bring Christopher Walken back, right?
That's right. Hey, you trying to score the best hot sauce in the game? Well, listen up. We got a variety of flavors that'll bring some spice into your life. That's right. Give me the hot sauce. It's the best small batch organic sauce that you've ever had. Whether it's Chicago style, Stacey's favorite, St. Pat's Verde, or the Sweet King's Q, spicy and sweet, just like the king. Or the hottest of the bunch, Chicago's 1871. Burn your eyes out. Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use code KING21. Get 21% off your first order. That's right.
Give me the hot sauce.
Oh.
And every package is taken care of personally, lovingly by Timmy Whispers, back in his closet.
No, I pack them.
You? Christopher Walken?
Christopher Walken's packing them?
That's going to cost a lot of money for a big-time Hollywood star to be
you
packing
really
hot
take that
sauce.
job seriously, packing.
That's why it's pricey. I told you that.
Oh, I'm back. You thought I was gone, Christopher Walken. I don't want to hear your weasel voice anymore. Tell me, Gina.
I'm not finished, you moron.
You are done.
Want to thank Mike Monaco for joining us. He's next on my guy to put in the trunk.
Look, Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Oh, the crew.
Well, I tell you what, Mark, it started off as a dream.
Stacey's Oscars speech here as he accepts his award.
Sorry, America. It did. Seriously, it started off as a dream. I was sitting at home during the COVID thing, and I was thinking to myself, I was walking outside to my mailbox, and my next door neighbor, he came out and we were social distancing.
Right.
And so he says to me, normally I would have ran into those circumstances because I didn't know what COVID was. So I would have taken off running, normally when I went to the mailbox, I saw somebody walking down the street. I just turned back and ran like the little gopher.
Those were strange times.
Oh man. Yeah. Like, the groundhog.
Yeah.
I went back in. But this particular time we were social distance, and he said, he asked me what I was doing during the break.
Yeah.
And I said, no, just, sitting around watching a lot of movies, a lot of Hallmark movies, and then he said, you should do a podcast. And I said, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about podcasts. He goes, I do one. And I'm thinking, who's going to listen to you? So I go,
Stacey doesn't live there anymore, by the way.
Yeah, I don't. So I said, so what do you do a podcast on? I said, and who listens?
Yeah.
He said, it's not about who listens. It's something I want to do. Is he's in the hunting. So the situation to him talking about hunting, and even though he only had 5 listeners and they're all family members, he didn't care. He didn't care, America. He was going to do it his way. And he said to me, I think you'd be good at it. You're funny. I watch you on the Bulls games. You're super hilarious. I think you would be a lot of fun. He said, just got to make sure your content is good. Boom, boom.
I'm a professional analyst.
Exactly. There you go, D. Right on tune, a professional analyst. So then the idea was, okay, so who can I get to work with me? Like, who can I get to do this journey with me? And, the first person I think of, I said, I got to have a good moderator. I got to have a good police officer that keeps everything flowing. And me and you, Mark, have worked a lot together. So I said there was a plus America, my friends. So we're all friends besides, coming together on the podcast. So I wanted my friends to be on this show. So I called Mark up, and Mark was in between the gigs right there. You were forcibly retired. We're gonna have a Mark banner over here too for the Comcast. But so Mark was in between jobs right there. So I said, Mark, come on, do this podcast with me. Boom, boom, boom. So Mark agreed. Boom. So then John and Susan, who were here earlier. So John Walsh, who would work with me for 8 years at Comcast.
Stinger and Southside
Susan.
Yeah.
They were big on this show as well. They helped us get going.
They helped us grow.
They helped us
build the
grow,
foundation.
and they helped the foundation. And so Stinger, we worked together for 8 years. So he was, we won 2 Emmys together. So I won him. We're great friends. I wanted him, and then we wanted a female perspective because we didn't want to be just a bunch of guys up here talking sports. And Southside Susan was the person that she had her little rants and stuff about the teams, and she could get away with it because she's a woman. We couldn't get away with it. I couldn't say anything about the Bulls,
right?
But she could, So she brought a different dynamic, and then we went and got. This is my best friend here. I know it's 30 years of abuse from him to me. But me and this guy, we go back a long way. We've done a lot of stuff together. We started this hot sauce business, which kind of Wow, okay, that wasn't a clue right there, D. You might be looking for another job after that one. That didn't fit. So we start the hot sauce business, and then we're doing this, and it all just kind of rolled into one. And Whispers in the beginning. He didn't say a lot.
Didn't say much.
He didn't say much. I mean, a lot of people thought he was a
the
mute.
name.
Yeah, that's how he got the nickname America, because I gave him the nickname Whispers because he never says anything. So, but as the show's gone on, he starts to get more comfortable. He would throw little grenades. Remember we used to say he's going to throw a grenade in the middle of the thing? Like the one time when he was talking about Ron Jeremy and hey, nice penis. Who says that?
Just brings the show to a stop.
Just a
Complete stop. We got to clean up the mess.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of sponsors.
I was wondering why I was here most of the time.
We've lost a lot of sponsors because this guy, but we've been able to get him back. Okay,
yeah.
But he brought a different element to the show as far as like his humor, and he's really gotten better as the shows have gone on. The Christopher Walken thing is awesome.
Yeah.
That gives him a show. I know the guy's funny. See, America, you may not know Timmy Whispers is funny. Timmy Whispers is funny. He's just not one of these guys that's scripted funny. He's just a guy that he'll say something and you'll just start laughing. So this is the reason why he's on the show. I know a lot of people question that.
Well, it's like the question he asked Will Perdue. I thought this isn't going nowhere, and then Will actually gave you an answer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that?
I mean, no one knew that.
No one did.
I played with the guy. Yeah. I thought he had a broken nose. I thought that's why he did it.
Just a nervous kind of,
But some of the questions that Whispers has come up with that he's really done, digging and finding.
Trey Young still doesn't like it very much.
No, Trey Young said, "I'll never come back on the show." Stacey,
I might have killed that one.
He's like, Stacey, you my boy. I love
Oklahoma
you.
through and through.
Sooner Nation, but I'm not coming on with Clay Aiken again. So I said, okay. We'll have to talk about that, Clay.
I did write him a note.
Did you?
Yeah, and I put it in the hot sauce. No response. He's probably like,
no, he didn't. He doesn't.
I'm not buying it.
The Chris D. Lofton about sucking on toes and on people's toes. Only Tim could come up with that. So everybody brings a different dynamic to the show. That's what makes it work, and that's what separates us from everybody else. I'm gonna continue to say this. We were at a certain level, America, where we kind of outgrew the fish tank a little bit. Like we got too big for the fish tank. And so we went out to Harper College and we picked up 4 or 5 kids that were in the class. Me and Tim were there doing a special guest appearance. And I was doing via Zoom. And I said, hey, is there any guys that want to work on a podcast? We're looking for guys to come on. And everybody raised their hand. Like every kid in the class raised their hand. Yeah. But we kind of handpicked the guys that we wanted, and then the 2 that we wanted, and they said, get this guy. So then we got Maddie, who's our producer right there, who happens to be Tim's lovely niece, who you wouldn't even know they're related.
The Sriracha crew.
Tim treats her. Okay, we got Nicky Knuckles here. Okay, I wish y'all come and let the people see you, man. It's a 100 show, man. Let everybody see you. Step up and let people see you. Okay.
Well, remember the second question that Harper was. who actually listens to the podcast, and a couple hands went up. They're like,
yes.
All right, you guys are on board.
So this is Maddie right here, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful Maddie. She's hiding behind the
She's
TV.
hiding behind
Come on,
the
there. Come on, Maddie. Step up. There you go. There she is right there.
There's Maddie.
Does a great job for us as our producer. Now, this is Nicky Knuckles right here. He's a part-time comedian that's not funny, but he's trying.
That's quite the selfie here.
There he is right there. And then there goes my man Francisco. And this guy, that's one of my favorite guys right there. There's Dangerous D right there. These two guys right here, you know, they speak in Spanish. You know, they don't think I know Spanish, so they speak in Spanish, and they, you know, they be talking trash in Spanish, Mark, but they didn't know.
You know, we're gonna enter Francisco in a spelling bee next year. I happened to notice on the last graphic he spelled Gimme Gimmie.
But I will say this.
You know.
I will say this, America. These guys have taken our show to another level. You know, we go from just being in an audio version to now we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch Live. These kids knew exactly what we wanted to do.
It's an experience.
They are tremendous at what they do, and I know they got bright future, TikTok, all the stuff that you old guys like, you know, Tim and Mark don't understand what I do because I'm social media. I'm a social media giant.
Again, our big news of the day, a brand new partnership with Odyssey, 2400 Sports. You can always find us on the Odyssey app, and we're going to be doing a lot of tie-ins with the Score, 670 as well. So we're really excited about that, taking the show to a whole new level, thanks to the talent and entertainment ability of one Stacey King.
It's not a one-man show, America, okay? You know, just because, you know, like the Jackson 5, Michael's out in front, he needed the rest of the Jacksons, okay? So I'm out in front, I'm Michael, I got Tito to my right, and I got...
I can't even meet Jermaine.
You might
At least
know.
Jermaine could sing a little.
Yeah, you have more talent than Tito.
Yeah, I can
this
hand
is Tito over here.
I can hand him a
this
tissue.
This is Jermaine right here, okay?
Tito,
and
give me a tissue.
And then we got Maddie. She's Janet.
Yeah.
And then we got over here. These are like the Jackson kids. These are all the Jackson kids right here. They
Like
don't
in that cartoon show.
They can't sing, but they're just there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a team effort, America. Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep. Drive home safely, Chicago.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Beep, beep.
And then we'll put
Drive
that
home
on
safely,
Drippy.
Chicago. Beep, beep.
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Safely.
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Hey, you ever smoke weed?
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep. Drive home safely, Chicago.
You're scaring me.
What'd I say? Oh, drive home safely. Oh, it's too much of the apple cider, baby. I've been poisoned. Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Goodness, it's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil thought Jimmy G buckets gets buckets. Oh my goodness, give me the hot sauce, Neil thought. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can't go upstairs.
Something to drink out of this one. I get right. I don't really do hot. Remember that SpongeBob episode?
Yeah, really hot. The face on it.
It's not too hot though. Oh, there you go.
It's a slow burn.
It's a creeper.
Yeah,
that's slow. Oh, it's good though.
Yeah. You can put them on anything. The barbecue sauce.
Barbecue
sauce is fine too.
Yeah, turn up the heat up in here.
Yeah.
Sweating again.
What do you think? Scale from 1 to 5.
That's perfect. I like a 5 though. Like a 5.
Oh, like a 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's good. I like this one.
We got one.
It got like a little kick to it.
Taste that.
Fast forward.
Oh, glove.
Hot on a scale from 1 to 5. How hot is it, you think?
It's about to kick in. It's coming in now. That's pretty hot. That's pretty hot.
You heard it here first.
I'd say a 4 out of 5. I did the whole chip over the sauce though, so I didn't go sauce straight to the tongue. It's hot. It was good.